right, in this video, I want to talk about what we're doing in our final expense life insurance call center to make an agent's day more efficient, more profitable for us. And this directly relates to you, and it will challenge some of the ways you're doing your business. But these are things that we found that result in just higher profitability overall. That can relate to you. And I'm not necessarily suggesting that you guys all do what I'm telling you to do, but I'm just gonna share with you what we're doing and we're seeing a lot of success with. So there's 4 core things an agent in our call centers are doing every single day, right? The first one, of course, is take new calls. New leads, brand new leads. We're an inbound call center, they take a TV call, right? And we know that over 90% of our business is one call closes. And so we've made the conscious decision to not allow follow-ups over 48 hours old. So what does that mean? It means our agents are pushing harder for a sale. When I say pushing harder, I don't mean they're trying to hard close them at the end or anything. It's they really need to make a connection on these calls. So they're doing everything they can, knowing that when they get an I need to think about it, or I need to speak with my spouse, that they have 48 hours before that is removed from their queue, okay? And that affects their direct results as well. So they're trying harder because of that. Now, a lot of agents, independent agents out there, you don't try hard enough, right? You're not trying to build that connection. A lot of agents are so worried, okay, I've just spent X amount of dollars for this phone call or for this lead, that, or that cost per conversation, let's call it that. And you're so worried that, that you may lose a sale that you don't push hard enough or you don't try to connect hard enough. And it ends up being a follow-up, which we know a lot of these follow-ups, they're just polite ways of telling you no. We're teaching them to do, things at the end of a call. If they, for example, get I need to think about it, or I need to speak with my spouse, or anything like that, where you need to challenge them at that point, because that's a polite way of saying no, is what we found. And we know from our statistics that over 90% of our sales are one call closes. So they need to make an effort right now. And that effort should have been made at the beginning of the call, during the presentation, right? During your discovery, if you do an effective discovery, all of your objections at the end should be flushed out, right? But if you do get something at the end, there was something missing from that because they called you, right? They want to be sold final expense life insurance. They want to trust you. They want to hear something that makes them comfortable to buy. They just didn't hear it. And so you need to try and get that out. We have them ask questions at the very end of the call, like, is this something you even really want? If they say that they need to think about it, we try and get them to, in a way, we want to say, well, what do you need to think about? What specifically do you need to think about? But if you just say that just outright, it's very combative, right? And somebody says, I need to think about it. I'll call you back. First of all, you should be self-aware that you didn't do a good job of presenting. There's a piece of information they needed, there was a connection they needed that they didn't get, okay? Be self-aware of that you failed in that regard, okay? So now, that they're not gonna buy, so what do you have to lose right now? If you say, okay, what specifically do you need to think about? That's a little combative. We do wanna say that, but we wanna get to it in a roundabout way. So there's ways that you can do that where you want to really just ask, is this something you even want? Because you just spent a lot of time on the phone with them, okay? And so, but a lot of agents in independent agent land aren't doing those sorts of things. That's one thing. So in an agent's day, we want them to one call close, and that's it. We remove all follow-ups after 48 hours. They don't get access to those. I don't care if you got to the end of the application and they forgot their payment information, right? If they don't get back in touch with them within 48 hours, we're removing it from their queue. We have another team that makes outbound calls that are training that will now follow up on that lead for training purposes. So, but that's just a realization we had of how many follow-ups actually will buy from you when we look at the data, and so we don't let agents follow up after 48 hours anymore. So I don't know if that's good information for you to have, because I know it's a little bit different when you're spending money on the leads and those cost per conversations and you want to follow up. But like previous videos I said before, you want to make sure at the end of that call, that this person really wants it. If not, let them go. put them in a nurture sequence, let that, automated texts or emails keep in touch with them. You shouldn't. You should be focusing your efforts on getting better at your presentation, taking more calls, training, whatever it is, because those we found statistically aren't worth your effort. So an agent's day is you're taking calls all day, right? And you're not following up. So what are the outbound calls that they are making during the day? So yeah, you'll have a couple follow-ups where they deemed, okay, this person gave a good reason that they want the coverage and they really just do need to think about it, because it's true. Some people really do need to think about it and they fully intend to get back to you. Of course that happens. Most of the time it doesn't though. I just don't want you guys to kid yourself here. The next thing they're calling on is their referrals, or in our call center, their emergency contact list. So at the end of every call, we set up an emergency contact list. We have this whole thing scripted out, and they usually get 1 to 3 emergency contacts, and or referrals, and they're calling on those as well, because how we measure agents now isn't close rate on the leads that they received, it's total close rate. So let's just say, for example's sake, that they received 100 calls for the month. They receive a lot more, but let's just say we received 100 calls for the entire month, and let's say you closed 20% of them unique leads, right? Turn to sale. But what about spouses? What about those referrals and emergency contact sales? Because we have agents in our call centers right now writing 5 to 10 apps every month just from referrals or emergency contacts. Okay? So that if you take 100 leads, that 20 unique closing percentage is now more like a 25 to 30% closing percentage, because that didn't cost anything to generate that business, right? That was a spouse sell, that was a referral, emergency contact. So, that's how we're evaluating them now. And so they are incentivized to go after that business, and we pay them on that business, and evaluate them on that closing rate, total closing rate, all business generated over all leads taken. So all that to say is they're just taking calls, right? They follow-ups for 48 hours, so they don't have that many follow-ups at all. I just want to be clear about that. Very few follow-ups, if any at all. Okay, we're training them to weed out those follow-ups, right? Those referral and those emergency contact follow-ups, those are very fruitful and help with their KPIs and help with our overall profitability as well. And then the last thing that they follow up on is the initial payments, right? If a payment was missed, right? Because our agents are paid on placed policy. So you make a sale and it doesn't place, NSF or whatever it was, they follow up on those missed payments as well. And that's it, okay? So you're taking calls, you may have a couple follow-ups, you're calling your referrals or emergency contacts and missed payments. That's it. They're not doing anything else. Now, yes, we've tested about, a customer service team calling on the initial payment, but we found that the agent calling on the initial payment is more effective, and they have more skin in the game, and they're more motivated so that they can get paid on that case, right? Then customer service, somebody else calling on that, it's a little bit more impersonal. Any payments after that, our customer service team calls on, right? So we just want to get that policy enforced from the agent. So just to clarify that piece of it. But that's how you become a more effective, a more profitable agent, because a lot of the stuff that agents are doing out there is busy work. It doesn't result in profit, okay? And agents in our call centers are training every single day. They're getting better every single day. They're being evaluated every single day and giving their metrics and things what they need to work on. And I challenge you as an agent out there that is working your own business, buying your own leads. I challenge you to get better every single day and evaluate yourself as well. Are you getting better with your presentation? Are you doing things that don't result in profits for your business, right? Do you have the guts to let go of follow-up who said, yeah, I need to think about it, or I need to speak with my spouse, but you didn't connect. There was something missing there, and you didn't push hard enough at the end to find out if they really do want this. And then you're following up with them for weeks, months, and and they never intended to buy anyway, right? So all that to say is that make sure you're doing the work that makes you money in this business. There's a lot of stuff that you can do that just wastes your time, makes you think you're being productive, but you're actually not, okay? Take the new leads, call on follow-ups for 48 hours or less, and really weed out those follow-ups if you can. Don't follow up with everyone who says, I need to think about it or I need to speak to my spouse. Just don't. It's not effective. Just get better at that, okay? Call on those referrals. When you make a sale where you have a referral program or you have something that you follow up on, we're getting at least 1 to 2 referrals per sale that we're making with our scripting and our call center. But I know a lot of agents out there who don't even go for it after they make a sale. All right? Need to be effective in that point. You'll be more profitable, and you work that, and you make sure those initial policies just place, right? And that you follow up on anything that's missed, any missed payments or anything like that. That's what we're doing here. We have a 17,000 square foot call center we're putting agents in seats, and we're evaluating profit per seat on agents, and this is their day. That's what they do. Okay, is there some waste there? Yeah, there's a little bit of waste, but we get more efficiency on the other things that matter, and that makes us more profitable. So I encourage you guys out there that are, that maybe you're struggling with profitability or anything like that. Just to know that the core pieces of this business is consistency, right? Taking more calls, not following up on everyone, and going after those referrals and those initial first payments, right? And of course, if you're independent, you want to follow up on your payments after the first one as well. Our agents don't need to do that here, but those are the core things that drive profit here, okay? And remember to always get better, right? The reason we're so profitable and the reason we do this is agents are monitored. Every single call is scored, and they need to get better, and they do get better, because if they don't work here anymore. And I find a lot of agents aren't doing that. So, beyond those revenue producing, profit producing tasks I just talked about, make sure you have time to develop yourself every single day to become more profitable.